Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Midweek Fix from the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, and with me this week I have Keith, and this show is going to be a little bit different. We're going to look back on the game against Napoli. We're going to look at a couple of players in that game. We're going to look at a guy that calls himself a pundit, but he's just mental. And we're going to talk a little bit of transfer stuff, and then we're going to get into our random questions that we asked for earlier on. So, if you're into football and stuff, stick with us for the first 2025, and if you don't like random questions, leave after 2025. But trust me, they're good. We've got loads of them, 17 of them we got today, random. We got stuff that kind of same question from different people, so we just took the ones that were different. So we've 17 random questions. There's loads. It's all about food and fucking nicknames, and there's all sorts going on in there. If you are watching, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. Keith, how are you?
Gav, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Did you watch the football tonight?
No, watch none of it.
Bit of a mad one there in the PSG group.
Oh, I seen Benfica went through for scoring the most goals.
6-1 they won. They played and battered in a load of goals against Maccabi Haifa, so they topped that group, which sort of obviously has a burden on ourselves because
we'll miss out
talk
PSG
about
in
it
that
later on. Yeah, and it throws them into the mix then for the group winners as well. Can get them now, your Cities and Reals and all. So yeah, spices are up a little bit.
Yeah. Jurgen Klopp got the freedom in Liverpool today.
What does that mean? As in, in Dublin, don't you get like something that you can own sheep in Stephen's Green or some shit like that?
Yeah, I think you can walk stuff around Dublin, like animals and whatever, and no one can say anything to you. So yeah, Dublin might be different. In Liverpool, I don't know what it is. You get a cert, you get a key. I don't know. Do you get free drink? Like that's what you think straight away, isn't it? You get free drink there.
Like gargling this.
Yeah, like is like the McDonald's up near Lime Street like free? You know, that sort of stuff if you're in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like,
if anybody knows, if anyone in the chat has the freedom of Liverpool, they let us know what the perks are of this, or is it just one of them sort of titles with nothing to it? Like the way Jibril Cisse decided
he was a lord,
the Lord of the Manor of Frodsham.
Yeah, that's because the house he bought was on. He got that with the house he bought.
He got the deeds, didn't he, with the gaff?
Yeah. Sas Copboy says, "Ooh, fancy new screen layout." No, we just put Darwin in there and made it 2 instead of 4. It's not that special. William Farrell says, "Found you guys last week. Love the show. Good crack, especially the 4 of you. Sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 3, sometimes there's 2. Sometimes we're alone. So we make up for the 2 that are meant to be here, but not really meant to be here because we've just organised it between us. But look, Jurgen Klopp's got the freedom of the city. I've seen a lovely video made by Liverpool Football Club about it, and it might have been, was it made by Liverpool Football Club? It might have been made by the City Council or something. It was a really nice video anyway. As always, it comes across really, really well. But look, the game last night, Keith. We beat Napoli 2-0. We come second in the group, and we look later on as to who we want and don't want to get in that draw, which I presume was Friday. There's all the work I've put in. I'm presuming it's Friday. But we'll have a look at who the possible opponents are. But we win the game 2-0, Keith, and it was a bit better, wasn't it? It was a bit better than what we've seen especially the last 2 league games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but that was a good Napoli side, as in a good 11 on the pitch. We know Napoli are the most informed team in Europe. Like, they're an absolutely cracking outfit. First defeat of the season for them. So you're going in there, they make a couple of changes, but they still have a strong 11 out there. So, it's not like they put out a team of kids for it being a dead rubber. And Liverpool just played better, I thought. Napoli didn't do anything in the whole game. And Liverpool, I thought, created more chances, had the better play. And there was still a couple of concerning performances for me, but it was good to see.
The draw's Monday.
On Monday.
Why did they change it on Friday?
Exactly. It's fucking World Cup starting in 2 weeks, Gav. They changed everything. They fucking ruined it. Wrecking the game they are this year, the bastards.
Monday at 11 a.m. Sunday. Well, you can probably get your draw at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Yeah.
go
Go on,
through
anyway.
all the
Sorry
rigmarole.
for
I forget
interrupting.
what I was saying. Oh yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, we're going to talk about Darwin Nunez, but absolutely love this fella. Absolutely fucking adore this lad because he comes on and just it's like throwing a grenade in. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's what I love about him. But even without that, I thought Liverpool were a better side, where controlling the game, didn't let Napoli into. As I say, Napoli created very little, if anything, in the whole game. So it was a really, really good performance on the back of the shite that we've been served up. So yeah, I was happy with that. Hopefully, it's a we say it all the time, hopefully it's a stepping stone for something better to come. But it was interesting that we did sort of revert back to the 4-3-3. And the players looked a bit more comfortable in it. But that again, personnel might have played a bit of a factor in that.
Yeah. I thought it was better. I thought there was a bit more intensity to it. I thought with the 4-3-3, if we wanted to press, we were backing it up a bit more. Fabinho still looks a bit lost to me.
Yeah,
A couple of loose touches, and somebody put it really well today on Twitter, and I can't remember who it was, but when I read it, I kind of went, yeah, I agree with that. They said, look, he was never quick. He was never quick, but he was always in the right place. Always found himself in the right place and was conservative enough on the ball, but very rarely lost it. He plays those clip balls behind and stuff when he's able to open his body out and have a look when we're right on top. But usually when we're under a bit of pressure and he gets it, he's usually good at just finding his full back, finding Salah with a little ball around the corner, and that confidence has gone out of him. But I think it's just being in the right place. He seems to be, for me, and he's not playing well, don't get me wrong, but it just seems to me like the old Fabinho would have been 3 yards that way, or 3 yards forward, or 3 yards back, or when he just seems to be like his radar is off, and then he's getting exposed. Sort of way where he used to be right on it. But I'm hoping. Look, he's going through a horrible time at the minute, I think, Fabinho. But I'm hoping it's something, because you see when we score, he's delighted and he's up for it. And we've seen things like, he's round with Klopp, is he falling out with him? But you could see there when we score goals, he's delighted. So I don't think there's too much in that. But hopefully, he just needs something to get going for him. You know what I mean? And and the funny thing is, like, we talk about Virgil van Dijk, is he holding himself out for a World Cup? Maybe Fabinho is, sort of way. Now, the chance of him playing are reduced with regard than more reduced than Van Dijk, because Van Dijk's captain of Holland, I think. Whereas Fabinho's overlooked, I think, for Fred and Casemiro for Brazil. But maybe that's something for him, because he's 28, 29, and he's not first choice for Brazil. So if he goes to this World Cup and he gets games, it's probably his last World Cup, unless something monumental happens. So,
it's interesting. I think he could miss out on the World Cup. I see Shawnee tweeted about him as well, and those conversations around that. And when you look at them positions, for TJ does prefer Fred and Casemiro, but he also likes the Newcastle fella Guimaraes, is still in there and now making shapes, and they've got someone mentioned Joe Linton. I don't know if he's in there, but he could make a late run for it. But if a young as well off Flamengo, Joe Gomez, who Liverpool are very, very interested in. And he's only a young guy as well, but he plays that role as well. And Flamengo won the Copa Libertadores there last week, and he's forced his way into the team ahead of Arturo Vidal. Now, Arturo Vidal's our age, you know what I mean? So it's probably no great thing. But, there's players in there that are starting to make a run for that World Cup squad. So Fabinho nearly playing his way up. But what I find with him is it's the decision making is just, it's a few seconds out with him. What he was excellent at, the clip passes now are great. What I always loved about him was he'd go in for the tackle and he'd come out with the ball, as in he'd be back on his feet and the move would carry on. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was going in, winning the ball and carrying on with it. So, and that's not happening.
But I always noticed, Keith, like, you see some defensive midfielders over the years, and they're in tackles, and they're flying over, they're covering fullbacks, and they're just cutting off. Whereas, and getting really involved in the game. And I'm not saying Fabinho wasn't involved in the game, but the amount of times you see someone try and make a pass and Fabinho just get a toe in, and he mightn't get control, but he get a toe in and it go to a fullback or go to a centre back, and he just get that little touch somewhere where he's just brilliant at cutting off passing lanes. That's what he was. If you watch games where they break up, especially when Liverpool used to break up the ball and hit people on the attack, it'd be Fabinho just getting a toe in somewhere, a foot in, and then bang, Liverpool are gone, because he was just finding the right areas where he looks a bit uncertain of himself, so he's trying to be a bit more conservative in where he stands, and it's actually hurting him because they're finding more space to play around him. But like you said, he could play his way out of a World Cup squad here, and You know, on a personal level for him, it wouldn't be good. For us, it might be, listen,
Yeah.
that might be the kick up the arse you need if you still want to go and play in a Copa America for Brazil, or plus the break. You get a break and you get to recharge. But we all know Fabinho's not great with breaks. You know what I mean? When he gets a break, whether that's just a break from football or an enforced break through injury, he's never the quickest to come back. So it'll be interesting to see if he is or isn't in the squad, how it affects him, because he might just need a break from Liverpool where he goes away to a World Cup, doesn't play an awful lot, but comes back a bit more refreshed, you know, while still
nice
training and stuff over there. Yeah.
The warm weather training, Garmack's
Yeah,
point is good. That's on the screen there as well. Like, he has, since he's come to us, he's been excellent. He's been high level, and his drop off has been significant. But you could say the same for Trent, and you could say the same for Virgil this year, and even the likes of Matip as well. So it's just that he's such an important cog that it's standing out a mile.
Yeah. Konate. I want to get to Nunez, but Konate. Gets booked last night, and when he got booked, I thought to myself, he feels a bit of a model to get a red here. You know, one wrong step, and it's European football. You know yourself, they get away with me, they go down theatrically, and you get a red. But I thought he was very good last night, and he takes that yellow. But either side of that, I thought he was really, really good, Keith. And there was a bit more of an air of confidence and surety in the back line, across the back line, with him being there, including Van Dijk for me. He's becoming so important, isn't he, at 22 or whatever years of age he is. He's becoming so important. And I've seen Jamie Holmes saying today that, like, and loads have said it, but it reminded me when he said it, he said, look, he has all the tools to become one of the most dominating centre-backs in world football. And once you keep him fit, I think it's hard to argue. I think he has everything. If he starts stepping out of the fence and hitting passes, he has the lot for me.
Yeah, and he done that. He did carry it out a few times. And the beauty of Konate, I said it when we signed him last year, he has that sort of ability to step out like Matip does, and he has the pace that Gomez does. He's faster, in my opinion, and he's like a freight train when he's running. The only worry is, does he settle into the league? And he established himself last season. Now, it's a pity that he got that knock in pre-season. And the worry is, can he get a run of games where he's fit? But if he can, I thought he made a huge difference last night, because when you look at Napoli, right, so we know where the threats are coming from. It's Osimhen down the middle. And we know the wide players. What's your man's name again?
I know. I get it in one, right? Kavice Kvaratskhelia.
I'll give it that. Yeah, very, very good.
What do you mean you give it to me? You don't have a fucking clue if I'm right or wrong, but it is. It's Kavice Kvaratskhelia.
I don't know about his first name. Just call him Billy. His friends call him Billy.
Kavice Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, okay.
Mick,
but we know that
his mates.
That's it, exactly. But we know that they're all about pace. Osimhen, especially down the middle, will run you ragged, and he'll run into channels, and he'll drag your centre back into channels as well, where they don't want to be. And while Gomez is quick, he's not high on confidence at the moment, and he was very uncomfortable having to do it in Naples. Now, in Naples, I felt Gomez was a little bit scapegoated, because I felt Trent was deplorable that night and was leaving all the gaps, and Gomez was trying to cover. But I think if that had been Gomez there last night, he wouldn't have slept the night before. Do you know what I mean? He'd have been having nightmares about what he was facing, whereas Konate goes in there and he doesn't give a shit who he's playing. If it's a big striker, he'll play that big striker. If it's a quick striker, he's quick enough to play that quick striker. Yeah. And that's the beauty of him. I think it's brilliant to have him back. And hopefully, as I say, if we keep him fit, he could be the catalyst. Not the catalyst that we need, don't get me wrong. We've been absolutely shy, and a centre-back isn't going to be the catalyst, but he could be the one that helps other players like Trent, like Fabinho, that are struggling. And even, as you say, Van Dijk, he could be the one that sort of ties them all in together.
Paul Giovanni says, you say it Kvaratskhelia, Gav. No, sorry. No, it's not. It's the one I said a minute ago. But Sas Cowboy says, first endometriosis and now Kvaratskhelia. Gav is a pro. But, just on Konate, I just think, just stay fit. Next couple of games, he's looking to get into a French World Cup team as well, and he's probably one where you're going, will he, won't he? So he'll be looking to impress you. You're not going to ever come across Konate in the next, it's only 2.5 weeks now, isn't it, before the break up? Or is it even that? 10 days.
Their last game is
in 10 days. So in the next 3 games, I don't think you're going to see Konate like dropping off because he's a World Cup. And when did he name their squads? It must be fairly soon.
I'd say so. I don't think he'll go, to be honest. They have an absolute bleeding. Now, I
Yeah,
don't know what the fitness like is of their centre backs, but he hasn't played, and I'd be surprised, even though he did force his way into the French squad at the end of last season. I don't know if he's maybe left it a bit too late. Hopefully, again, I don't want any of our players going to the World Cup. But
yeah. But look, he was really, really good. Let's talk about Napoli though, because I was impressed by them. I don't think they're at their best last night, and I think there's a mixture of things there. I think they're already group winners unless it's a catastrophe last night. I don't think Liverpool let them play well in certain parts of the game, so you give Liverpool credit for that. But I have to be honest, I thought some of the centre halves were good.
the centre halves
They were
right.
good. The Georgian fella, as we just call him now, because it's just such a long name, Kvaratskhelia. And I have it kind of knocked off now. I don't think Kvaratskhelia. It's like that other one, the fella off Sports, that I keep thinking his name is wrong. What's the Swedish fella off Sports?
Oh,
is he Swedish?
Kulusevski,
yeah. I always think I'm getting his name wrong. But when you look at him, Osimhen wasn't great last night, but the way they keep the ball well, they're a threat all the time. And to be honest with you, the Georgian fella, it was the fella I wanted to watch because Shawnee said it to me. Me and Shawnee talk about him loads, and he's like a throwback. He's not.
He is.
He's not like when you look at him, it's not like he's, like a Thierry Henry from the late 90s where he was a whippet and he was just lightning. He's not like a Jack Grealish that you'd see out on the wing, where he's all technical and no pace. He has the lot. 21 years of age, like he's going to cost someone a fucking shitload of money, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's brilliant, and you're right. He's so old fashioned. It's actually great to watch. You know what I mean? Because you look at wingers nowadays, and it's all inverted. It's all playing on their wrong side, for want of a better word, and it's cutting in onto on their stronger foot all the time. This fella just gets his head down and goes, and he's a brilliant player.
Actually, he reminds me a little bit of Diaz. Because Diaz is the same. Diaz gets it and he just fucking goes with it as well.
He looks to get to the line and then he'll make his decision when he's there, whereas a lot of them are nearly trying to be too clever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, get the ball here, I'm touching it in, I'm getting into the half space between the centre-back and the full-back. This fella's just running. And wherever he ends up, it's like, right, I'm here now, what'll I do? I'll cross, I'll shoot, I'll pull back, I'll do whatever. And he's a brilliant player. They got him for something like 10 million euros.
Yeah, no, Kevin Ball says they're the same. He said, mad to think he was 10 million this summer, all the top clubs stepped him. Where did he get him from?
I mean, I wouldn't say Dynamo Tbilisi. I don't know if it was probably it was a Georgian team. I think he was in the Georgian league. He wasn't playing anywhere big, and that's the thing. Like you say, sleep. Imagine Liverpool bought him in the summer. People would be losing their shit. Who the fuck is this fella? Why we the finished club? Whereas the reality is, you've got teams out there that are looking at these players and will take them in. And some countries are better for players. Do you know what I mean? Like Georgians, probably it's easier to settle into the likes of Italy than it would be to England certainly at a young age. So you can understand why he made that and he's flourishing. But, it's a sign of good scouting, and Napoli are a good club. It'll be interesting to see how he develops there and how long he stays there.
I genuinely can't see him being there that next summer. Because we were talking the other night about talking to an Arsenal fan the other night, and he was saying about the young players that they have and the likes of Saka, Martinelli in particular, where they are within their contracts. I think Saka signed a deal. He might have signed a deal last year, I think, but Martinelli hasn't signed a deal. He's looking to go from something like 60 grand a week to 200 grand a week, and what'll happen with him? And my opinion was that Martinelli will end up at Arsenal. Or end up at Man City from Arsenal, because the conversation came up if Arsenal managed to miss out on top four, or even if they get top four, they've spent a shitload of money, But my thing was Martinelli will end up at Man City. That's my take on it. I think you'll end up seeing Mahrez going from Man City, and I think Martinelli or maybe Saka, whatever way you want to do it. Well, I think City will go and look at them too as wingers in the Premier League that are really impressive and are gettable. To go from, although Arsenal are possibly in a title challenge here, going back into the Champions League, I think there's a level above Arsenal at the moment. I'd still put a couple of clubs as a level above Arsenal. But this guy come up and I was like, Jesus Christ, yeah, he probably is made for them. he probably actually is made for them, because it looks like he could play on either side. You know, he plays down the left, but he could play on either side. So yeah, it's frightening to think if he went to Man City. You know, with what they have, not only with what they have, like, but could you imagine him up top, and Haaland's in the middle? Like, this fella just supply it all fucking day. Like, it looks like, but he was really good, and I think he was a standout. Last thing on the game, Liverpool, there was a goal disallowed by Napoli, for offside, very tight. Liverpool held the line. I thought Konate was going to get caught because he's the one that drops in slightly with them and just offside. But at the end of the day, he probably lets them go and then goes with them just to make sure, and it goes over his head and they score anyway. And it's ruled out because the rules are he was offside when the ball was struck, all this new VAR stuff that they have in Europe and stuff like that. But Didi Hamann came out and said Liverpool were fortunate that goal was disallowed. Like,
very lucky.
Keith, I'm only bringing this up because I seen you on Twitter earlier saying, like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, we're even having narratives around decisions that are shown to be right decisions. You know, like, we can argue over VAR all day, like, who's making that decision? You know, is it the ref? Is it the fella in the fucking van in Stockley Park? You know, and we can argue over that all day, but this VAR stuff, you cannot argue over it if it's working and it's taken out of referees' hands. It's literally technology that's showing you we're in millimeters, and a man decides that, you know, oh, it's offside, but, you know, oh, they're lucky that got disallowed.
Well, he was arguing that it wasn't even offside, to be honest. He was doing for people not aware, he was doing punditry on RTE, the Irish channel, and the thing was on, and he was the pundit talking about it, and he was like, Liverpool are very lucky to get out of there with that win. You know, Napoli unlucky to have a goal ruled out, and Liverpool were lucky to have their goals ruled in. You know, and I was like, what the fuck is he on about? And they showed the Champions League now have this 3D automation thing, you know, so it's not it's not two epoxy lines where there's any sort of confusion. Now, it took an eternity to fucking get the decision, but I think that might have been an issue with the technology or something like that. But they showed the automation thing, and you could see, you know, there was the head and the shoulder, I think, or the whatever you can use, were ahead of Konate. So fucking decision made. Case closed. Not for Didi. Didi then was like, no, Liverpool very lucky. And he was talking about something else. And then a minute or two later, he started again. I can't remember. It was Kevin Doyle, I think, could have been the other. Kevin Doyle was the other pundit that was in the studio. Yeah. And they were talking about something else. And Hamann started again saying, you know, it doesn't even show the point of where it left the player's foot. And you're like, what are you on about? Do you know, like, what are you fucking smoking here, Didi? Because I'm sure they have that tied in. I'm sure that point, the technology is from the exact moment it leaves the foot, and that's the minute they're freezing. Like, they're not blading taking a screenshot and going for the best here. Like, that the whole point of this now is that this is the semi-automation thing where it's supposedly
Kev said it's not semi-automated yet in the Champions League. It's coming in Qatar, but no, it's just shown to you a different way.
It's shown you. Well, it's shown you the angle. It's not showing you the lines. It's showing you the 3D. It's showing you the 3D. Or where you can literally see
it's like
the body parts.
It's like fucking Avatar.
Exactly. But it takes out that whole nonsense about, you know, the perspective of the camera. You know, the way people argue and say, oh, that still looks onside when you're looking at lines. It takes that out of it. It's showing you, look, this is the fucking point of the body that's ahead, that's onside. This discussion over. But he kept going on and on about it, and I was like, what? He's so fucking bitter about Liverpool, Didi Hamann. It's I don't watch him a lot. I tend to turn him off. I think he's an absolute tit. Yeah, I think he's an absolute tit. But it was on there last night. The missus was watching it, so I didn't have the ownership of the remote control, so I left that with it. But he was terrible. You know, he was fucking awful.
He's not alone. Like, because like Emma Kavanagh reminds me of something I seen during the week where the first line in an Andros Townsend piece or tweet was whether it's offside or not is irrelevant. That was his first line.
Yeah.
Andros Townsend used it today, and I'm like, "Wow, listen, come here." Like,
but this is the mentality. Hold
on a minute. This is the level, right? That not. I'm not talking about Didi Hamann because I think he's a fucking idiot, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about him exclusively here, but surely all these people can't be that fucking stupid, right? Right? Now, you can make the argument that they are. I completely get that. But I think these people are selling themselves on ridiculous things to fucking say rather than things they think, right? And this is the era and the generation we live in now where if Didi Hamann came out and went, well, look, if you stop that there, what Liverpool are trying to do is they're keeping that line. They keep it really well. Konate does drop in because Konate, just in case, is trying to get across there. Just in case something's gone wrong, Konate goes in. But he times it perfectly to go in when you see it afterwards because it ends up offside. But, you know, standing still completely could hurt you because if it's not given offside and it comes off the keeper, nobody's there to defend it. He could have went into a nice fucking rounded way of looking at it and shown it from a defender's point of view and I can do that. As a fucking 40-year-old idiot, I can do that, right? But what did he do? They say, nah, we won't do that. What we'll just say is, they're lucky. Now, in his part, he fucking can't stand Liverpool Football Club because he's been up their hole since Klopp arrived and he won't give him a job, right? That's that. But when you see the other stuff, you're like, this can't be actually happening. Like, VAR is like they're re-refereeing the game. Of course they are. That's what it's there for. But look, they're not pundits. They are not pundits, right?
But Gav, if you ask yourself, how many are good? How many pundits do you see now? Whether they're on Sky Sports BT, whether they're on Talk Sports, ex-players. How many of them do you think have good sort of knowledge and opinions? There's not many of them. There's more of them talk scutter than there is that talk sense.
Keith, they all have access to every game. Every minute of every game. They have access to technology. They can slow it down, spin angles, fucking have cameras from the moon looking at it. They can draw on screens. They can do everything. And if they stick to what happens in football games, right, they can be fine, but they're not. Like, to come out and say something like, well, forget if it's offside or not, that's irrelevant. Like, that's not punditry, Keith. We're using the term punditry very, very fucking loosely now, right? You'd be better off saying they're characters because that's what they've become, characters, right? I don't know, or I don't look at name X, Y, or Z pundit as they call them and say, oh, well, he's good on this or he's good on that. Like Carragher's good on defensive stuff. So is Neville. Neville done a brilliant thing on Trent Alexander-Arnold the other week. A brilliant thing. And I can't stand him, Keith, because he veers way too much away from what happens on the foot. Punditry is about talking about things in the game, how they happen, why they happen, and they're about giving you information and maybe giving you something that you don't know, like in a defensive mind or Thierry Henry talking about Darwin Nunez. You listen to him, it's Thierry Henry. You know, Michael Owen, right, not in everyone's cup of tea, but when he talks about finishing, you kind of go, oh yeah, jeez, I never even thought of that. But it's all gone now. They're not pundits anymore. They're just characters that say stuff that, gets online and influences what people think. And trust me, if any of these people are saying this and it influences what you think on the game of football, you're the problem. And
that's so true. That's so true, like, because they have this influence. If you look at the mentality, the talk sport sort of shite where they have like Jamie O'Hara on trying to talk to you about football, or Darren Ambrose, and every other skid mark that's out there, Gabby Agbonlahor, like you're looking at these and there's no common sense among a lot of them, and it's just, you're right, it's the clickbait or the look at me, even with the likes of Jamie Carragher and that Micah Richards as well. When you watch them on Sky and then when you watch them on
Paramount,
the American one, what's it, Paramount, is it? It's a different thing. Like, they're actually decent on that, and it seems to be, even though it does seem to be a bit more jokey and a bit more laughy in the studio, obviously, because Roy Keane is.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Keith, when they're in Sky, they know they're going into the UK market, right? Yeah. Which is, you look at Twitter, it's just, all the Twitter is fucking football accounts and it's all. But when they're doing Paramount, it's exclusive in America. So they have to come across as intelligent pundits that are showing you something that you don't know about the game. And no offense to American viewers, but American, when they're, the way they see it is, they're playing one game in England, which is all, what are you talking about? Whereas in America, it's actually better. your standard of viewing in America is better because they're probably looking going, oh yeah, because Americans aren't used to until relatively recently having top pros from the biggest leagues in the world, commentating directly and exclusively into their country on football, which is and the biggest football tournament in the world, bar the World Cup. So, you can see what way they're trying to show themselves on Paramount as opposed to Sky, and that just shows you their characters. It's not punditry. I guarantee you, if you sat them down for whatever game it was last night and said, you're in America, this is exclusive in America, and then says, right, well, listen, this is exclusive in the UK, they'll tell you two completely different fucking things. Yeah. Because that's what they are. But let's get away from them, because I just get fucking so annoyed by them. Jude Bellingham. Now, Robbie D says, please, guys, leave Bellingham to the many clickbait merchants. Should have learned after the Mbappe saga just sound like a banter club. Right, now.
It's a good point.
No, it's a great point. And that's why I put it up there. That. Because I'm of the opinion nobody knows anything about Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Right? But the rumours persist. And I wanted to bring this up because pundits are one thing, right? And then you have journalists. And that's why I want to get on to Jude Bellingham. But Jude Bellingham, Keith, we've seen, I've seen many Liverpool fans going, if it's 150 million euros, we're not doing that. Not because, and you can say Liverpool as a club won't do it, but fans are actually going, we can't spend that.
Yeah.
We need more than Jude Bellingham, and if we do that, we're not spending much more. My argument is, if you're doing Jude Bellingham, he's completely independent of anything else you're doing. So, but what are you making of this? Because it just won't stop, will it? Because he's going to move next summer.
Yeah, he's going to move next summer. Dortmund have more or less said that. And when Dortmund won't hold him to ransom, you know what I mean? They're a club that they know the script, they know the score, they done it with Sancho, and they would have let Sancho probably leave earlier if United had paid
a year earlier
what they had to pay, so they'll set a price and they'll make that move. Now, where I've always felt that Bellingham to Liverpool made sense, and I think now people are panicking because we're in a bad run of form at the moment, and will he come to us if we're not in Europe or we're in the Conference League? Look, let's wait and see how the season pans out. Let's not worry about that. But I think it's people are panicking about Real Madrid, right? And Real Madrid's interested, and they may well be interested, and he may well want to go there.
But every club should be interested.
Every club's going to be interested, exactly. Man City are going to be interested. Man City were interested last season. Make no mistake, you know what I mean? Man City are aware of Jude Bellingham. They didn't just discover him when he played against them in the Champions League. So just because Man City are interested, we'll wait and see. To me, it all comes down to whether Jude Bellingham wants to play for Klopp. And let's be real about it. That's the only reason we will get him ahead of the other teams, because they're going to throw money at him. And the transfer fee, if Liverpool are willing to go to 100, but they want 150 and Liverpool don't entertain that, that's great.
Kevin Sullivan says there, what you're seeing now is negotiations through journals close to both clubs. We're at 100, they're at 150, in the middle somewhere is where the deal can be done, right?
Yeah.
Look, it's going to rumble on. Right, I agree with you. If he wants to play for Klopp, he comes to Liverpool. I think if the price is 100 million euros, I think Liverpool should absolutely be in the discussion.
Yeah.
Right?
But I wouldn't meet them halfway. Right? I wouldn't meet them halfway. I wouldn't do the 125. No,
but I think if it's 100 million euros, I think you should be in it. I think he's just shown more and more week on week.
He's excellent.
But let me. This is my thing, and we get off now because we want to go on to the random stuff, right? But this would be my take on the Jude Bellingham thing, right? Jude Bellingham has long been linked with Liverpool, right? Through media, fans wanted him, and that's fine. Fans should want him. He's brilliant, and he's having that breakout season that we hope he didn't have because the price gets risen up and all. But what you're seeing now is people saying, oh, well, if Liverpool don't have Europe, Champions League, they won't get Jude Bellingham, right? Or Liverpool are going all out for Jude Bellingham. Now, what they're doing is, what they're setting up there is that they're going to feed you with Liverpool are going all out for this, okay? And then if it happens, they can go, didn't we tell you they were all going out for it? Because, I could just fucking say that, oh, we're all going for Jude Bellingham. And then if it doesn't happen, what they're going to say is that, look, they went all out and it just wasn't enough, wasn't it not? Look, who's to blame? And they get 6 months of Jude Bellingham hysteria, okay, of Liverpool are going all out. And then if it doesn't happen, they get another 3 months through the transfer window, and then possibly another 3 if Liverpool start badly next season of, Jude Bellingham didn't go to Liverpool because let's blame X, Y and Z, and they all get their clicks and they all get their subscriptions, and that's how they work. So with regards to Jude Bellingham, don't worry about it. Nobody knows a fucking thing.
Exactly.
And he'll move in the summer. Whenever he moves to, and that's the way it is.
I actually have a feeling, and a lot of people are saying it in the chat, like the figures getting bandied about are just paper talk. You know what I mean? Like, he's only got 2 years left in his deal, and I don't think it will be 150 million. But I think it'll be interesting. You know, if Liverpool are not in the Jude Bellingham sweepstakes, let's say, I just hope they sign their alternatives quickly.
I've seen Rice mentioned.
Yeah, I saw
I
the
think if he
emotionally.
leaves West Ham, he goes to Chelsea.
Yeah, so do
plays
I.
with his mate
He was in their
Mason
youth
Mount.
team, wasn't he? He didn't play
Yeah.
for their youth team, and him and Mason Mount are best pals. I agree. I got a bit emotional instead of taking him ahead of Bellingham. No, I want Bellingham. But I think if, you know, we are talking about them stupid figures, if Liverpool aren't going to entertain that, I just hope they do 3, you know, midfield players, whether it be one in January and then do early business in the summer window. That sort of puts to bed.
I think the 100.
Jude Bellingham.
I think the 150 is way too high. I think they're probably looking at it going, listen, he probably peaked on his value this summer. I think he's got better performance wise, but I think with 2 years to go, that's when it starts to drop on his value. You know what I mean? Unless I'm balls of steel and they say no, we just do another year and we'll still ask for 100 million and someone might pay it. But I think it'll happen this season, and I think you're probably around the 100 million euros mark, I'd say. Veranda Cheese says supposedly his father's ruled any chance of going to United. And
it's funny, United are quite confident about getting him because of his father's friendship with your man Morta, aren't they?
Yeah, but his father meant to be a Liverpool fan and all this, and his family and stuff like that. There's all sorts going on there. Yeah. Rice has Chelsea written all over him, says Kevin Ball. You know, Rice, again, when you watch him, I think he's good. I'm a bit on the fence about Rice. But having said that, he only has a year left on his deal next summer. So you could be looking somewhere around the 50 million mark, 60 million mark for him. But listen, we don't know. We'll just get through this season. But with the Bellingham stuff, read it if you want, but like they know fuck all. They just know nothing. Can we go on to the random stuff?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, okay. Why not?
Before we do, Red Steve says 318, which is about 330 people watching. There's 111 likes, right? Steve says, are you not paying for this? No, it's free. Do the lads a favour. It is a big favour. If you hit the thumbs up button, the like button. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We do content most days of the week. It's good most of the time, so we're told. And the people that don't like us tell us emphatically. So you can go on that as well. But hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and look, we'll see where we go from there. So I asked for random questions. Oh, sorry.
Did you
sorry.
Get
no, before I do. Tarek said earlier, the only teams we can get in the UEFA Champions League draw on Monday are Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Porto, or Benfica.
Yeah.
Who are you having?
What's my one of the Portuguese lads? Yeah, Porto.
It's Porto.
It's a tradition, isn't it? Like, so. Look, I think that PSG result not softened the blow, but we were looking at PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and then Porto. So you're clutching at the 1 and 4, and now you get Benfica into the mix. And look, they're good teams. Benfica and Porto are good teams, but now you're a 50-50 chance of getting a weaker side, and it just makes it a little bit easier. But we just wait and see. I mean, I watch Bayern Munich a fair bit, and I'm not overly impressed with them either, to be honest. Right, they're plundering a lot of the teams in Germany, but you know they always do. But you know, I wouldn't if Liverpool. This all depends on Liverpool. When's it back on February? Is it? This is all based on Liverpool sorting their shit out before then. But you know, I wouldn't be fearful of any of them if we can get our own house in order. But if we can't, then we're looking at one of the Portuguese lads. It'd be nice. As Veranda Chase says, it's always Porto.
I think in order, it'd be Porto, Benfica, Bayern, Real Madrid in that order. But listen, we'll see on Monday at 11. It's on at 11, but you mightn't get this thing to 1. Someone asked earlier, will I be doing a live show for that? No, unfortunately, I'll be at a funeral on Monday, so I won't be doing a show on it.
You don't want to do a 4-hour Champions League draw special where they just talk to random players and drag the arse over for
Yeah, that's what they do.
unnecessarily.
Lazo says everything on YouTube is free. On this channel it is.
Yeah.
Not so sure elsewhere.
Yeah.
You can pay Elon Musk levels of subscription.
Oh, he's acting the maggot, isn't he,
He's
with
having
the
a
old
great
Twitter?
time, isn't he?
Oh,
He's having
stop.
a great time. And then I seen a video that was a mock-up on the Joe Rogan. They kind of clipped the Joe Rogan podcast up, and it made it look like he sacked some girl that worked from on Twitter straight away, like one day into the job. But yeah, mad stuff. Right, random stuff. Mark it down. 40 minutes in. We're going to do this probably for another 30, I'd say. Would you, Keith?
Yeah, they done well to get 40 on the football, didn't they?
Yeah, we did. They done well.
In fairness.
The Sass Copley says live cop update from the back of the church. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Can you just keep it down up there?
Yeah.
Talk.
Right, I'm just going to read them out as I got them. We got loads, but we've narrowed it down to 17 questions. All right. So, crisp sandwiches. Gary McDonald asked. First question. Crisp sandwiches. All right. What is your setup on a crisp sambo? And I also want to ask you, why would you be putting cheese on a crisp sambo that has cheese and onion crisps on it?
Yeah, no, I would, but it wouldn't be the go-to. I love a cheese sambo with a few cheese and onion crisps on it. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. But if it's just the ideal world, all things, you have your choice of everything. It wouldn't be cheese, even though you'd have the option.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would be batch bread, fresh batch.
Yeah.
Lashings
Most people
of
don't know
butter.
what batch is, though, but go on.
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah. It's how do you describe it? It's just good bread.
Yeah.
It's bad for you, but you know what I mean. It's that's why it's nice. Batch bread, real butter, and King crisps. So I've decided on King over Tato. Again, people outside Ireland won't know the relevance of that, but
It'd be like
that's it, Bladen. Sophie's choice. Pick your favourite
what's the
child.
UK version of King and Tato, I suppose?
Walkers and Golden Wonder. I don't know, is it?
Yeah, maybe so. So it'd be like, yeah. Tato are very popular. I think King are a better crisp.
Yeah, I prefer King as well. Yeah, I prefer the King.
You know, when it's coming up to Christmas, you know, when you see the mega boxes of them now with 40 packets in them, there's definitely one of each being bought in our house. Yeah. Oh, I like Tato and I like King.
Yeah, same here.
Butter, salt and vinegar, crisps, cheese, toasted. Now you can't be toasting. You can't be toasting. Listen, a crisp sandwich.
The crisp go bleeding like cardboard.
No, it's not even that. A crisp sandwich is about. Listen, just fucking butter a couple of slices of bread there, right? Yeah. With a packet of King, you're probably buttering 2 slices, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just lash a bit of butter on 2 bits of bread, packet of King on the plate, and into the sitting room you go to watch the telly. You know, none of this toasting and all that stuff on it.
Or adding other crap in there. Garmac ruined his one. He was close. Batch bread, Tato cheese and onion, big cup of tea, no butter.
No.
The butter is essential.
Butter is massively essential.
Even if you don't like it, you have to have it.
Batch bread, right? So Walkers and Golden Wonder will be the choice. So it'd be like picking between. That's what Paul Giovanni says. Yeah. So it'd be like picking between Walkers or Golden Wonder when you're picking Tato or King, right? Batch bread, loads of real butter, right? Loads of it.
Yeah.
King salt and vinegar crisps.
Salt and vinegar.
A cup of tea. Yeah.
Oh, see, I was only about to say there's a lot of savages in that chat there talking about salt and vinegar. Not on a sambo. No,
Hannah alone says ready salted Walkers, brown bread and real butter.
Oh, ready salted's a bit bleeding, bit beige.
I just have visions of the red box of Pringles being broken out there and put on bread.
And it's not a big flavour over in Ireland either. It's not already salted. I think it's more of a UK
Yeah, it's more of a UK thing, I think, because over here the only really ready salted crisp you see here would be Pringles, the red Pringles. They're ready salted. Yeah. Manas Subedi says no me. No. Yeah. Just a chicken fillet with salt and vinegar crisps on bread.
You could put ham. You could have a slice of ham and cheese with a few King on it. That's not bad as well.
Danny Phillips, you have to be taking the piss. Danny Phillips, right?
Oh.
White sliced Warburtons, tuna paste, and prawn cocktail crisps.
What's tuna paste?
Fuck me, that is rotten.
What is tuna paste?
I don't know.
Is that like a squirty thing of tuna? I don't know what it is, but it sounds deplorable.
Jesus Christ. Sean put in a super chat, he says, ham, egg mayo, McCoy's steak crisps. Now listen, see egg mayo That is fucking. That came from the devil.
I
That
love
spawned the
egg mayo.
devil, egg mayo.
Oh, I
I
love
always
it.
tell the story. I was telling someone the other day. I used to drive for a living, right? And one of the lads that I worked for, when I was going out doing whatever, his son, 15 or 16, used to come with me on the van, and I used to drive for fucking all hours a day. But I remember getting him picked him up at the house one day, pulled up, got in the van, and as soon as he landed his arse on the chair, I said to him, "What's that smell?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I can smell. Is that egg mayo?" And he was like, "Yeah, egg mayo sandwiches. My mum made them for me." I said, "Get out of the van." And he went, "What?" I said, "Get out of the van." He said, What do you mean get out of the van?" I said, "You've two choices here. You and the egg mayo sandwiches get out of the van, or you remove the egg mayo sandwiches from the van. You are not going to meet me, right?" Now you have to remember, I'm contracted by his father to do this job, right? So I'm basically telling, by all intents and purposes, my boss's son to get out of the fucking van.
Yeah.
So the father comes out, he says, "What's going on?" I said, "Get them out of me fucking van, or get him out of the van with them, one or the other." So I made him leave the egg mayo sandwiches at home. Now the fellow I worked for was breaking his bollocks laughing, but he was like really strong feelings on it. I was like, I fucking despise egg mayonnaise.
I like egg mayonnaise. I like it, but
It's
I wouldn't put
fucking
crisps on it.
deplorable.
Oh, I'm a big fan of it. Egg mayonnaise, ham, yeah, that's all right. And sweet corn, I'm all right with that. A bit of onion, but not crisps. Not crisps. Another thing, Stefan Mack put a bleeding outrageous. He said it to me on Twitter earlier, and he's at that putting it in there. Right, where's his comment?
I kind of feel.
What
What was it about?
About beans and all going on his one. Let's back up a bit, right? Did you try the Tato skull bread?
Yeah. Skull bread, brown sauce, beans, and spring onion.
I mean, that's all sorts of wrong.
No, that reminds me of the kid. That reminds me of the kid in school that brought fucking peanut butter sandwiches 5 days a week. And then he used to. There was a fellow who went to school. He brought peanut butter sandwiches 5 days a week. And then those pepperami things. The green pepperami.
Yeah.
He used to bring them in, but they were gone off about a year. I think he was getting them in a shop. His fucking uncle or something.
A shop that was like a laden container.
Listen, people are disgusting, aren't they?
Do you know what? I used to work with a fella, right? When I was like 18, 19, I was working in a garage, a repair shop, and used to have to do the sambo run, and you'd get the list, and they were all savages, you'd go down and you wouldn't get on a roll. Like your woman in the shop would cut up a Vienna roll, big Vienna roll.
Yeah, big Vienna roll,
give you half a Vienna roll, right? So you'd get your Vienna roll. And he used to get, so you'd get all the regulars, ham, coleslaw, whatever.
Yeah.
A mate of mine used to get, and the English, this might fall on deaf ears for anyone outside of Ireland. Corned beef, meanies, and beetroot.
Someone said beetroot earlier. Beetroot's disgusting.
Beetroot, meanies, and corned beef. That was his fucking sambo every day. He's still alive. This was 20 years ago. He's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive.
Garmack puts vinegar on his beans, pass it on, says Emma Kavanagh. I know a fella that, and everyone knows a curry tray, right? 3-in-1 as we know it, right? So it's curry sauce, chips, and rice in a tray. And I know a mate from years, he's not my friend anymore, and probably because of this, but it was when we were a lot younger, but he used to get the curry tray, right? And he, mix it all up with the fork, and then he put vinegar and red sauce into it. It's deplorable, isn't it? I reckon half of these are serial killers at this stage.
Yeah. A mate of mine used to put red sauce on a stew, and I always thought that was fucking weird as well.
Veranda Cheese has a mate that travels from Belfast to his ma's house in Tallaght to collect her egg mayo. True story. Egg mayo is fucking deplorable. It should be banned. But anyway, we're going with.
I think I'm being harsh on it. Saz Copway said there's eggs and all mayo. See, you don't get the egg mayo in Canada, obviously, pal. You know what I mean? This is a delicacy.
This is not even a delicacy. It's a fucking. It's like someone. It's like someone said to you, "Here, will you grab the mayo, the big tub of mayo? Because mayonnaise comes in massive 5-litre fucking tubs." For the delicatessens over here, and it's like someone went there. Can you get the thing? And you go, yeah, and they just dropped a load of eggs in it and just fucking poured it into the. It's horrible. But we're both agreed on batch butter. You're going with King cheese, and I'm gonna have real butter with King salt and vinegar. A brown roll, butter, garlic mayo, spicy chicken, and bacon with cheese and red onion. Don't mind that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
What crisps are on it? Is there no crisps on this one?
No, there's no crisps. He's just gone for a spicy hot chicken roll.
Oh, yeah. That's fair enough.
Which is, could you imagine?
But you know what? I don't like the cheese when you get a chicken fillet. I don't like cheese on it.
There's a way of doing it.
Is that?
Yeah.
There's a cheese.
No, do you know what the cheat is?
What's it?
And I've only seen it done once in front of me, right? But you know, like if you go in, give us a hot chicken roll. So hot chicken roll is massive in Ireland. I don't know if it's in
Yeah,
the UK or America, but it's a hot chicken roll. It's a French baguette, as you call it, wouldn't you?
yeah,
Cut it open. You want butter? Yeah, I always get butter and mayo, right? Because I feel
of
like you
course.
need enough. It needs to be soft. Them
Exactly.
rolls can be hard. So the trick is, right? So usually on that hot chicken roll, I usually get butter, mayo, cheese, lettuce, and maybe a bit of red onion or spring onion, right? But I've seen it done once where they dice up the chicken fillet and then they throw the cheese on top of it and then they mix it around and then they put it in as if they're putting the chicken fillet into the roll, but they dice it up real small and that's how you get the cheese mixed into the chicken, so it actually melts.
Nice, nice.
You can't go wrong with a bit of stuffing on a hot chicken roll.
Yeah, I know. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, it'd have to be in place of lettuce and all. It wouldn't be getting lettuce on it.
Red Steve says we've lost 30 viewers. Wait till you see when we get to the real random stuff. Listen, it's something we told them. You can leave
We
if you
did.
want, but you're
Yeah.
missing some absolute great stuff. In fairness, Let me see if there's anything here. Gav, you should do a live taste test some night. Different breads, crisps, etc. Yeah, but I'm not eating egg mayo. I'm not
Yeah.
eating egg mayo.
Smell-o-vision.
Right. Matt asked, and we do this do a bit quicker. Has the last 5 years at Liverpool been truly appreciated by fans? Do you truly appreciate what's happened at Liverpool, or do you live
No.
on a game by game thing, or what way are you with that?
I try to. I try to appreciate it, and I try to base me sort of feelings in the moment on the Klopp era as a whole. Do you know what I mean? So I try to appreciate the whole thing, but ultimately we don't. I think we're spoiled. We try to be rational on here. A lot of people don't like that. We don't tend to be shouty. We don't tend to be, hot takes and all this sort of stuff. We try to be as rational as we can. But I don't think even we appreciate the success. I mean, people talk about, one league in 30 years and the rubbish the 90 plus point seasons. But, for a team to be doing that, it was only done something like 3 times before Liverpool
Mm.
and City start making it nearly the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming out on the wrong side of it, unfortunately. But the points total, only one team can win the league. But for two teams to be hitting over 90 points is fucking outrageous. It shows a level of excellence that we've never seen before. We've seen one team being good in the league. We've seen periods where you've had United and Arsenal going for titles, but never to the extent of these two. And I think just because we didn't come out on the right side of a couple of the league and Champions League finals as well, it gets diminished a bit, and I just think it's a shame. Like this team, these players, this manager, what they've done. Do you know what I mean? Like I was thinking about Bobby Firmino. I think Bobby Firmino's probably fifth or sixth greatest striker this club's ever had. Sixth, seventh, maybe. I don't know. There's been a lot of good strikers, but I think he's better than a lot of our legends. And the fella, just obviously, you don't have to love Bobby. I do. He's my favourite player of the Klopp era. I've said that numerous times. But we don't appreciate these lads for what they've done and the amount of work they've put in and putting their bodies on the line. And even we said about Fabinho earlier, it's hard graft playing in this club team. And, they've done their best. They couldn't have asked for much more. It's always what derails us is injuries and fitness things. Other than that, the last 5 years, it's been pretty special, and I think we should appreciate it a bit more.
I think I have appreciated it, but not fully. And the reason I say that is that I loved every minute of it. Like I love every most minutes of supporting
Yeah.
Liverpool. Like even the bad times, you kind of go, look, it happens, and stuff like that, and you just kind of get on with it. But I think when it comes to being in a difficult period as we are, I always find myself going, you know what? You actually start telling yourself, wasn't that great? And when you start telling yourself, wasn't that great, and you kind of think over it, you kind of go, I could have probably appreciated a little bit more, and it's times like this that'll tell me that when Liverpool turn a corner, which they will, appreciate it fully, because the game is so fickle. But some people do, some people fucking don't. Saskopoi says, Gav, have you ever eaten sushi? No fucking way.
Oh, no.
No.
Gav, fuck off.
No
Gav's
way.
a weirdo with food.
It's
You
just
ain't eating
fucking
raw
fish, innit?
fish.
It's raw fish, and they roll it
Wrapped
up on a
in
table mat
seaweed.
that they found
Yeah,
fucking somewhere.
seaweed.
And yeah, fuck that. No, not having that. Biggest animal Red Steve asked, the biggest animal you could beat in a fight.
The Biggest animal. I'd like to think I could take a giraffe out, but
In what way? How are you taking him out now? Go
well,
on. Right, so
you
hold on.
take
Hold on. You're putting a fear with a giraffe. Ding, ding, ding. Foy. How the fuck are
yeah.
you taking that cunt out?
Well, how's he taking me out? That's the first
He's
question.
just leaning over and grabbing you in his mouth and he's eating you.
Yeah, but you're going for his knees. Their legs bend funny. Do you know what I mean? They don't have normal legs. They've weird legs. So I'm going for the knees. And if you take a giraffe down, he's not getting up very quick. And then I don't think he has the minerals to sort of attack you. I don't know if they have that anger and that rage in them.
I think they might if you're fucking attacking them.
No, but they're on the ground. They're incapacitated, Gav. They're not able to do anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't.
Definitely. I think a giraffe could be the biggest one I'm going for. I'm confident in that.
Emma Kavanagh says sushi is elite. Doesn't have to be raw fish. Most of the time it is. I'm not eating anyway. Giraffes are dangerous. Fuckers his own book. I'm going to go kangaroo.
Kangaroo knocked the bollocks out of you. You for
No,
real?
no,
Them things can box.
I'm taking a kangaroo out.
And they're quick.
Yeah, I know, but listen, you don't. What's about quick? You're standing up and fighting them.
Yeah, but I reckon they could stand toe to toe with you and knock the bollocks out of you.
No, jump on their back, fucking rear naked chokehold down on the ground, gone. Anything bigger?
I
No.
don't know. All right, kangaroo. I'd fancy a giraffe quicker than a kangaroo.
Giraffes' kicks
Giraffes
are
are
mental.
meek. Yeah, but you're taking it out at the knees. He's on the ground. He's not moving.
No, but hold on, you're not. Hold on. Do you think you're going over to punch a giraffe in the knee and it's just going to fall on the ground?
What's he going to do? They don't move quick. They're real slow. You can't turn around. The bell rings. We're facing each other. We're squaring off.
Okay.
What's he going to do? He's not going to turn around. You're just going to get in nippy. Like, I'm not the quickest as people might imagine, but I reckon I'm quick enough to get over to the knee and give it a little one of them.
Yeah, okay.
Take
Just
them
hitting
down.
them on the knee. Okay.
That's the aim for the knee.
So Keith's
Sweet
gone
spot.
giraffe. I've gone with kangaroo. Gabba will kick the shit out of you. Literally says Arch. No, look, I'm going. That's what I'm going with. All right, that's what I'm going with. And the funny thing is, like, he's gone for a fucking giraffe, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I can kind of see the reasoning in the giraffe," and kind of laughing at me for a fucking
Hannah
kangaroo.
alone says there, she thinks I have a better chance on the giraffe than you have on the kangaroo.
Sean
She
BK
speaks
says,
sense.
"Gab, you're so small, they will put you in their pouch." That's fucking true as well. But we're not having sushi.
No,
I get loads of slagging about me height and me weight and everything, don't I? And me age. I just get abused on this fucking channel. Anyway, Pete Taylor says, one band or artist to only listen to for the rest of your life. Killer for you.
Yeah, one band or artist. Yeah. Who would you go with?
Veranda Cheese says, giraffes kill lions. Oh, Barry Devaney says, people who eat mackerel, especially in an office setting, should be on a register. Anyone that brings in fish of any sort,
tuna as well,
and heats it in a microwave in work, or eats it in the canteen with the general fucking population, should be. Yeah, I fully agree with Barry Devaney.
There was a fella I walked in the office, and there was
a giraffe can run 60 miles an hour.
Not when he's on the ground with a sore knee, he can't. And he's getting the ears welled off him by me. We'll see how fast he can run then. There was a fella they used to have a George Foreman grill in the office in the canteen, and a fella used to go in and toast his tuna sambos on the George Foreman thing and wouldn't clean her up after him. It was blatant disgusting.
Seth Coppo said, I paid to watch Gav eat Wildfields. I remember the Anfield Rap doing it once when they were going over to Scandinavia to do something, and they were giving them this, was it the fish in the tin?
Herring or something, or was it the Scandinavia?
There's a word for it, and it was just no, I was nearly puking up looking at them. Right, so band or artist, Radiohead's got a show, Queen's got a show, Oasis has got a show.
No, for me, my favourite band are Pink Floyd, but I think I'd go off my head listening to just Pink Floyd all the time. I need to weigh it out. So the likes of David Grohl and the Foo Fighters, do you know what I mean? You go Dave Grohl, you get Nirvana and you get the Foo Fighters, but then it's a bit heavy as well, so I don't know. Who has a good back catalogue? You know, you could go for the volume on this. I would say, for me, one artist or one band for the rest of me. Do you know what? Bob Marley, because Bob Marley is one of my favourite singers. Bob Marley, David Bowie, and Luke Kelly. That's who my son will tell you are my favourite.
Yeah.
And Bob Marley just makes me happy, makes me smile. I love Bob Marley. I've loved Bob Marley since I was a kid, because my uncles grew up in Dublin in the 80s and all, and they were into the elbow stuff and all that, and they'd always be playing Bob Marley. So I grew up strung out on Bob Marley. So to me, that's the one.
Yeah.
Definitely be Bob Marley.
I don't know who I'd go for.
It's a hard one.
Honestly, like Queen, the Beatles, all them sort of thing are great. I probably would pump for Oasis though.
Yeah,
I
do you
always find,
know?
no matter what I listen to, I always find it. And listen, Noel and Liam Gallagher do my fucking tits in them.
Yeah,
But I kind of listen to them, and look, Oasis came out in around '94. I was 12,
yeah,
and it was kind of like, wow, do you know what I mean? But then again, like I was brought up in all sorts of music in the house, and in uncle, like my grandmother's house was just loads of uncles living in it, and they all listened to like Simon and
yeah.
Gar. Actually, do you know what? No, Simon and Garfunkel.
You
Is who
going
I
for
listen
Simon
to.
and Garfunkel?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've an incredible back catalogue, so I'd actually go for
Are
them.
you getting that solo stuff as well? Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting. No, you're probably just getting Simon and Garfunkel because it's only one band or thing.
Or artist. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and I.
I'm sure you could branch out, like, because you get Bright Eyes then by Art
Yeah,
Garfunkel, it's
well,
a great
if you
song.
went,
And you get all the Paul
yeah,
Simon
well, I
there
don't
as
mind,
well.
but Simon and Garfunkel will do it for me. But Oasis, I always go back to. And then another one I was brought up on, and my dad listened to loads of, was a man called Harry Chapin. He was the man that made Cats in the Cradle. So
Yeah.
his back catalogue is good as well. But no, go on, I'll go
Don't
Simon and
always.
Garfunkel.
Yeah, why not?
What?
What's your take on Oasis, right? So I love Oasis as well, I have
Mm-hmm.
to say. And a lot of people rubbish them after fucking, what's the story, Morning Glory. I
Well,
think they've had some great albums after that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
um,
I think Be Here Now was a great album. They get lashed out of it because it
Be Here Now was
comes
a
directly
brilliant album.
after it. And I think all their albums, all of them, have good songs on
Yeah,
them. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
That when you go back, you're like, it wasn't as good as the last one. But when you listen to it a few years later, some great playing tunes.
Yeah, but when you look at their first album, it's just fucking unbelievable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first album is unbelievable. What's the Story, Morning Glory is brilliant. Be Here Now is brilliant. That actually came out on the day Princess Diana died.
Yeah.
I think around that, yeah. And then there's other stuff. There's other stuff to do later on where, but when you
Standing
actually
on the
listen,
Shoulder of Giants was good as well.
yeah,
Like,
but when you
it's some
listen to
great
them, you're
albums.
just like, yeah, they're good albums. But no, it still goes Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah. Ash Grace were a good show. Talking Heads, yeah, I love Talking Heads. Talking
Jonas
Heads and
Brothers
Pink
says there's no
Floyd,
rock.
Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, Jonas Brothers, why not?
Red Steve says 2 great albums. Then Bollocks from Oasis. Now Be Here Now was a great album. Don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Who asked the next one? Emma asked the next one. Would you like to be able to talk to animals or be fluent in all languages? Well, you can talk to animals anyway, but I mean, what he means is you were able to
Have a
communicate
conversation
through
with them.
speech with animals or be fluent in all languages. We do these
I'd
quick.
rather be fluent in all languages. I'm
So
not an animal lover. I don't have pets, and I've just
I
knocked the
stopped
shite out
myself.
of a giraffe, so
I
I'm
stopped
not
myself
into
from
the animal
traveling to some
kingdom.
countries because I just feel like I'll,
Yeah.
no,
I
this is
try to
just,
talk when I go to Spain and all. My missus gives me loads of stick over it, you know what I mean?
yeah,
He can speak all the languages. I
yeah,
just
like the
like the
L-boy.
L-boy. I just make it up, put a little accent on it.
All right, okay. But we're both going for fluent in all languages, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right. This is a question. You have to just answer it, okay? And then we're moving on because this could go fucking forever. A breakfast roll. What are you putting in it? And if you're having a sauce, what one are you having?
Right. My sister-in-law made me one a few years ago, and it was a game changer, right? So it's sausages, has to be sausages, rashers, fried egg, dippy fried egg, white pudding, but spice burger as well. So the spice burger gets played and spread on it, and then
Yeah.
a bit of brown sauce, and that for me is the brown sauce in with the egg yolk,
Oh,
the
spice burgers
the,
are fucking...
the real butter and all on it.
I think I have
It's
2
so
spice
bad
burgers
for
in the
you,
fridge.
but they get them on.
But you'd be dying of heartburn. You wake up in the middle of the night dying.
Yeah.
Spice burgers, when I'm doing a barbecue, are always there. Spice burger,
Yeah.
cut it in half, stick a bit on your burger. Oh yeah, 100%.
A spice burger's just an Irish thing.
What
Do
sauce are you
people
going
in the
for?
chat know?
Yeah, no,
Brown.
it's Irish. Brown sauce. What type of brown
Yeah.
sauce?
I'm not well. When I say I'm not fussy, like we use chef sauce in the house, but in me ma's it was always YR and
YR.
HP or Daddy's. So I don't mind any of them.
Chef is too sweet.
I don't mind chef. I like
Nah,
it.
YR is the best. YR is the best.
Yeah.
Dylan
Daddy's
wants
brown
taco
sauce is
sauce,
nice.
sausage rasher, white pudding, hash brown butter.
Taco sauce. No.
Wow.
Taco sauce.
For me, no egg. Don't eat
No
eggs.
egg.
No,
Controversial from the
if
start.
there's an omelette going, I'll have it. But other than that, eggs, no, not for me. So sausage, bacon with the fat taken off it, a hyena around, the fucking fat just keeps following you as you're trying to fucking take it out.
Yeah.
So sausages, bacon with the fat taken off it, hash brown, black pudding, white pudding with red sauce.
Red sauce.
That's
Yeah, I
me.
don't mind. I'm easy on the sauce, you know what I mean? Like red or brown.
Sleeping Dragon asks, what's a spice burger? We're not getting into it, but if you type in Walsh's spice burgers into Google, you will find out what it is. It's only sold in Ireland, and once they told Ireland as a nation that they were going to stop producing spice burgers, when I say the country came to a fucking halt, until that decision was reversed.
Big Jim Larkin would have been proud of that. For sake.
Alternate ending to the film Elf.
Elf. I love Elf. Alternate ending to it. James Caan just kicks him out, and the buddy's living on the streets, living under a bridge in New York. Falls on hard times, and he's then harassing you when you're going down Times Square, asking you, do you want to buy Bladen cups or whatever else he finds on the street. Yeah.
My alternative ending is that everything kind of happens, but then you see when he goes off and he says, you're my brother and all, and there's kind of a happy ending. Elf turns around and says, no, do you know what, fuck you, and takes the money for the books himself and leaves the other fella out. And that ends up with his missus as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think can he end up with his missus? Because, no, of course he can. Yes,
end up with his missus, his dad's missus?
Yeah.
All right, well, his own missus was all right.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking alternative end. He ends up with
the being a bastard, if you want to be a bastard, like, he takes his mother-in-law, his stepmother, whatever she is, a stepmother. Yeah, okay, that's all right. Yeah, does Will Ferrell have that in him? I don't know. I think that's more of a bad Santa,
but this is alternative ending. You can have whatever you want.
Yeah, but I don't think Will has the minerals to pull that sort of a role off.
Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to fucking read my own writing here. Okay, Pete Taylor asked, darts or boxer? Nickname for yourself. So Keith the what Plunkett.
Oh, fuck's sake. The bald muppet. I don't know. What can we do? What are you thinking for Gavin Doyle? What are we going with? Keith the something Plunkett. To think about this on the spot.
Don't know. Don't think
for Keith the Big Hammer Plunkett, because it leaves a lot of innuendo for everybody.
Okay.
So, big Hammer. Big Hammer.
Okay. Red Steve asks, if you were like a snooker player or a darts player or whatever it was, and you were coming out, what music would you like to come out on stage to?
The darts is getting a lot of love, isn't it, tonight?
Yeah. Keep the tin whistle Plunkett.
It's the opposite of the Big Hammer, isn't it? The tin whistle. What music would you come out with? Maybe I could come out with something on the tin whistle. Yeah, could come out with something on the tin whistle. Conor McGregor, didn't he used to come out to like the Foggy Jew and all that, come out to a now traditional Irish one, but play EastEnders theme on the tin whistle. That's what I'd come out to.
Yeah.
EastEnders, because I could play it on the recorder. I can play it on the tin whistle as well. Definitely, yeah.
I would darts player, snooker player. I like Fucking in the Bushes by Oasis. I think it's one of the best intros of all time. So I'm gonna go Fucking in the Bushes by Oasis. Let me see. Okay. So Emma asks, would you rather eat the same meal every day for the rest of your life? Okay, or a different meal every day of your life, but once you eat that meal, you can't eat it again. If you get me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put my hands up. I'm eating the same meal every day because I know I'm going to end up in all sorts of egg mayo sushi
3 weeks in and you're on the sushi. And
I'm on sushi sandwiches.
Wrap her up.
Yeah.
Wrap her up. And
egg mayo wraps.
Had a good run.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing. What would be the same thing? What are you eating?
Well, you can have whatever you want. So you could have like
so you can only have one thing. Like, so what's your one thing that you're gonna have?
Well, you could just so say for argument's sake, I said to you, right, Keith, you can have roast dinner every day for the rest of your life, or you can have roast dinner tomorrow, but then you can't have it, and then the next day you get something different, and if you have that something different, you can't have that either.
Yeah, no, I know the premise, but like you'd be by the Wednesday you'd be sick of a roast dinner. Do you know what I mean? I think your
But
one
then
dinner would have to be.
you're gonna end up on eating street food where they have fucking stick insects in batter. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm going with the one meal. Yeah, I'm going with the one food for the rest of my life. But I'd have to think what it'd be. You know what I mean? Like, what's the most versatile? What can you?
Sass Coppoid says Gav will get through a week and a half and we'll be into the exotic food.
Yeah, that's being ambitious to get to the week and
Jonathan
a
says I
half.
will come out to the music. I wish I was a little bit taller. Yeah, there you go
Yeah,
again. More abuse, but good show.
the cup go for both of us actually.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Same meal every day?
Same meal every day. Yeah, and I'm going for not going for a roast. I don't know, like pizza or something or pasta. I don't fucking know.
Kieran Doyle wants to know if I'd rather eat egg mayo sandwich for lunch every day for the rest of your life or watch Everton win the league at Anfield. I'd let them win the league at Anfield. That's how much I fucking despise egg mayonnaise. Let me see. Chris, I think it was Chris Brack asked, in the next 10 years, Liverpool win 6 titles and 3 Champions Leagues, but you can't see it. Are you all right with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Me too.
100%. Not a bother. I wouldn't even have to think twice about it.
Me too. Fernanda Shea says stew. Keith, easy answer.
Had stew today. Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, I'm gonna make one
My
tomorrow.
missus makes a good stew. Yeah,
I'm gonna make one tomorrow. Okay. Christmas Eve. What's your schedule Christmas Eve? A lot of people have loads of different things to do. Like, is yours like just normal day? Don't have to do it until the kids fuck off to bed. But my biggest thing is like, when do you have dinner on Christmas Eve? Do you go out for dinner? Do you get a takeaway? What are you going for?
Takeaway, all the traditional. I usually work on Christmas Eve, but it's one of them. Bring the kids in and just go in for a fry and then fuck off out of it. Yeah. So even if your kids don't want to go, they're getting brought in, because if you don't have kids, they probably make you stay and do a day's work. So, you know, I've got away with that one. So kids into work for an hour, out by about 11:30, back home by about 11:30, and then I'd have to do a bit of town, because I always go into town, even if I don't have to get on. The missus be the same. We always fuck off into town just for a ramble around, you know, for the last of the shopping, the last of the stalls and all that sort of buzz. We always do that. Then we'd come home. She goes to mass on the Christmas Eve night. I don't, and we get a Chinese takeaway, but she's infiltrated. I've got Chinese on Christmas Eve since, you know, I was young, before I met her, and she's had to adopt this tradition, but she's starting to infiltrate it a bit and switching to Indians and things like that.
Listen, one of a warder.
She doesn't like Chinese, you know what I mean? She's very fussy, but so it's a takeaway in any way, and it's a.
Brandon G says if you say matching on pajamas, he's unsubscribing.
Yeah, no, I don't do it now. All my mates and my sisters and my brother and all, they all do. They all
There's nothing worse on Christmas Eve than you go on Facebook and everyone's there going, "Oh, happy Christmas," and they're all there with the gaff immaculate, and they're in front of the fire and the fucking thing, and they've all like.
I'm like Jim Royal in a pair of jocks and like a vest sitting around. That's how I'm sitting there. And if me missus and me kids want to match that, you know, by all means, feel free. But it's not a coordinated gig.
No. I'm similar. It's a normal day for me. Just getting.
Do you realise we didn't talk about Darwin Nunez earlier?
Did we not? Oh, we'll do it in a minute.
We'll do it in a minute. Talk about Darwin Nunez.
We talk about it in a minute before we go. But yeah, mine's a similar day. Just normal fucking, you know, it's Christmas Eve. I get all that, but it's always a takeaway that even. And then Christmas is upon us, and then it's done and dusted. So it's fair to think. Red Steve asked, if you're Tom Hanks and you're on that island, but you have your IPTV, are you bothering your bollocks trying to get off the island?
No, it'd be grand.
Yeah,
fuck's sake. Yeah, I don't mind a bit of
Did you ever think
solitude?
Did you ever think about being on a desert island? Would you like to try it? And what I mean by that is none of this I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Would you like to say to someone, right, look, set up all the cameras, right, just to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
But fuck off then. I want to do it for 6 months or a year, right?
Yeah.
And just see what it's like. With no danger to the fact that you might fucking die or be left there. Would you like to have a go at
it? I don't need the cameras, you know what I mean? Just send the fucking boat across, send the boat around in a year and, you know, fish me out if I'm still alive. You wouldn't last a week, by the way, having to eat fucking catch your own fish and
Yeah.
and go, you be fucked, you be gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too far behind you, I have to
I've
say.
often
But
wondered, though, like, if you just threw me down and you said, right, we'll be back for you in a year, but we
yeah,
have got, if anything goes wrong, you can fucking press this button if you want to get
there's
off.
a radio,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
a
Yeah.
telly, a little generator to keep you going, a few
No,
electricity
none of that.
cards.
No, none of
What's the
that.
point of your radio?
No, all
You
you're
just
left
put
with
it
is
in.
4 FedEx boxes with random stuff in it that might not
So
help
we're
you.
going proper bleeding.
Proper Tom Hanks, they give you a
Yeah,
fucking burst dinghy, and you have to see where you have to go from there.
yeah.
I think I'll go for it.
I'd say, would you have made love to the Wilson before you tried to escape with him, or would you have left him intact? Because
I'd have left him intact.
I'd say within 6 days on a desert island, you're looking at bleeding everything, and you're getting desperate. You're like, I'm going out here. I'm going out in a blaze of shame, and Wilson's getting it. Do you know
Right.
my ma was in hospital for 10 weeks there. She only got out a couple of weeks ago. And I was only saying this to her actually the other day. I says, yeah, you're glad to be home. She says, yeah, I'm glad to be home in my own house and all that. I says, I'd have fucking loved the 10 week stint in hospital.
Mm.
And I'd have told, I don't want that to be wrong with me, but 10 weeks. She's like, no, you get very bored. I'm like, no, I wouldn't even want anyone to visit me. 10 weeks. Just put me up there, and when it's time to sign me out, come up and collect me. That's about it.
Okay. So you're just looking for 10 weeks in the matter
I don't
rather than a
mind. Yeah, I
desert
don't
island.
mind.
Okay.
I love my own company.
Okay. Final death row meal.
So you have to do the whole work on this, don't you? Final death row meal. I'm not a big starter person, I have to say. Death row meal. I love spicy pasta, right? So the authentic Italian. The authentic Italians that are all Americans, them ones. A big authentic Italian bowl of pasta with tomato sauce, all that sort of stuff. A big fuck off pizza, and then a load of ice cream as well to knock it down. I wouldn't get desserts, can be a bit finicky. Give me ice
No,
cream.
I wasn't
Give
thinking
me
of,
ice cream.
of desserts or starters. I'm so plain when it comes to eating. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm literally sitting here going, I would just get a Chinese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would.
3 in 1.
But if I wasn't, I think I'd like a Christmas dinner. Turkey, ham, mash, croquettes, all the veg, loads of cabbage, loads of stuffing and gravy. That'll do me. I'm alright.
But unless I'm getting killed on Christmas Day, it won't taste good. Do you know what I mean? Your Christmas dinner is special because it's Christmas Day.
Well, it's not really. You just like to believe that. You can get a
Yeah,
hand
but
out of
I'm a weirdo like that.
Okay. If you could score any goal in Liverpool's history, what would it be? You score it.
Any goal in Liverpool's history, Divock in the Champions League final.
Okay.
Just take the pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. Celebrate. Get to celebrate, and then you get to celebrate again a couple of minutes later because you've won the thing. So for me, Divock.
That's good. I like that. I think I'd go. I think Ian Rush in the '89 Cup final.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make it 3-2?
Yeah.
Rafa Barnes cross.
That's the one you're going with.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that.
What about him in '86 when he hits the
No,
camera?
I'm doing '89 because '89 Cup final had something special about it because of what's gone on before it and the two teams that's involved in it, Liverpool and Everton. What a game it was, and yeah, I think I'd probably go with that. Genie's header against Barca's his own. Yeah, that's a good one. Gerrard FA Cup final. Maybe Owens one in the 2001 Cup final.
Yeah.
Good. But I'd probably go '89 Cup final. I think I'd go with that.
Yeah.
If you could change the result of any game ever, what would it be?
Change the result of any game. This is a
No, it's
hard
an
one,
easy
like,
thing to do where you just go, United and Bayern in the 1990 Cup final because you take that up. But can I go first?
Go first, yeah.
Ireland against Italy in the World Cup quarter final in 1990. I changed the result of that because honestly, it was the best ever time to live in this country was them
Yeah.
weeks in 1990. It was so fucking good. Nobody worked. Nobody done anything. Everyone just watched Ireland, and it was so good. So to get another couple of days out of that World Cup, all right. You would have probably been beaten by,
Would
I
have
think they
played
were beaten by
Argentina.
Argentina in the semi
Yeah, would
final.
have played
So
Argentina.
yeah, maybe that's.
Yeah.
But I'd love to
It was
change
the
that
polar
result.
opposite of Spicegate or Spiceburger Gate, wasn't it? When the country came to a standstill,
Yeah,
but for different reasons. There was a lot of anger and rage on Spiceburger Gate, whereas
yeah.
Italia 90, the place was on wheels.
Loads
Yeah,
want that City Villa game at the end of last season changed. That's fair. But just for me, 1990 was just
yeah.
outrageous as a summer in Ireland.
The
Like, it was outrageous.
Mark says the Gerrard slip game.
Yeah,
Gerrard gets that bleeding thing, and
yeah,
there's loads of games. Yeah, it's easy to go with the Liverpool ones, but then you could look at the Schadenfreude, and you know, some people would say, wasn't it, Liverpool played Chelsea and Abramovich bought Chelsea on the back of them beating us, and what we could have had a warm hunger owning us for the last few years would have made people happy.
okay.
But now I'd probably would I change the result of one game? It's a fucking hard one. I wouldn't have minded winning the Champions League last season, to be honest. I would have liked that to cap off a season that them lads deserved, I think, more so than just the two domestic cups. So yeah, I would have taken that.
Mm.
I like your answer. I think it's a good one. It was,
Yeah, I just
what a
tried to
time
stay
to
away
be.
from Liverpool because it's easy to do Liverpool once I've done that. Last one before we have a word on Nunez that we completely forgot because we're having a great time. Alternate ending to Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
Right. So the boys break into the house and they mutilate and dismember the child, ransack the house, and make it off into the night after flooding it. So Kevin is found in several pieces floating in the basement.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a different film. It's a
Yeah.
different film.
It's different. Yeah. 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 Okay. Fair enough. My alternative ending isn't as severe as that. I would love the man to come back in and instead of laughing, he just tells it to fuck off.
Yeah. I'm
You
out of
know?
this family.
And he just
Fuck
walks
yous.
across to the Outfit cross door. Another fella with the shovel just
Yeah,
goes over and spends Christmas with him.
that's it.
You know, and it's all good. So I'll go with that. But wow, your ending is wow.
Yeah.
Look, before we finish, Darwin Nunez, because we completely forgot because we were dying to get onto the thing. But Keith, honestly, I fucking love him. I think he's
Yeah.
and it's not, and that's not me, being I just love him because he's a bit mental and he's not a good footballer. I think he's a brilliant footballer. I
Yeah.
think he's so fucking fast. He's completely mental. He comes on last night. He's trying to run amok. He's trying to punch the head off some fella. He scores a goal, and when it's probably going in, and there wouldn't have been any debate, but he sticks in the net anyway, and we see where we go from there. And the big thing for me was the maturity of him last night. Like, one
Yeah.
big thing for me last night was he gets that ball on the edge of the box and he just shifts it by the defender. And the defender hasn't got a hope. And in previous weeks, he would have just smashed that with his left foot.
Yeah.
But he tries to put across the Salah. Now, maybe some people would
It's a
argue,
great ball, in
yeah,
fairness.
but maybe
It is
people would argue, why didn't he smash it? Because when it doesn't go right,
Yeah, well, see,
people.
this is the problem, and
But
especially with
I
Nunez.
thought that was a big thing for him because it was a bit of understanding. You're starting to see it, and all right, it doesn't go in, but I just love him. I think everything about him. He's a bit mad. He's physical. He's quick. He's strong. He shoots off both feet. He's good in the air. He's just bananas. And when he comes on the pitch, like, it just descends into fucking chaos.
Yeah, it is. That's the word. Everyone is saying it, but there's never been a more apt description for a player than chaos when it's Darwin Nunez, because I think the punch in the head bit's overplayed a bit. You know what I mean? I think it was a tussle. I think your man was dragging out, man. I think he just sort of pushes him off, but it looks like he gives him a bleeding hook in the jaw. Do you know what I mean? But I just think every time he's impacting games, he got pulled up. What game was it? And he went down holding his face when no one hit him. I love all that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of all them dark arts.
Red Steve said we should have put a big picture of Darwin Nunez in the middle of the screen to remind us to talk about Darwin Nunez.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not even what reminded me that we didn't talk about Darwin Nunez. Someone said something about chaos or chaotic or something, and I'm like, Darwin Nunez, fuck, we forgot about him. But he's a blade, like I said earlier, he's like a blade throwing a grenade in. He just, everything bounces off him. He gets it under control. the pace of him. We said this when we signed him. He was clocked as the fastest player in the Champions League last season. And I remember you saying it. He doesn't look fast. He doesn't look fast. And we're starting to see it now. The
He
bleeding
eats the
pace of
ground
him.
up. It is
Yeah,
long. It's a long stride he has, but it's just. I just listen. I've seen brilliant players, right? Brilliant players playing for Liverpool and other clubs where you go, they're just brilliant, aren't they? Like they're so skillful, or they're so fast, or they're so strong, but this fella just comes on and it's like, if you were to look at him and highlight, you think he has no game intelligence whatsoever. He's a bit off his fucking head and he's just coming on and whatever happens, and you don't know what you're going to get every week, but you're starting to see what you're going to get. You know, he's fairly consistent in the fact that he's going to beat defenders, he's going to go for it in the air, he's going to shoot off both feet, he's going to cause murder, and you still have people going, Darwin Nunez is compared to this, and you're kind of saying to yourself, hold on, he's about 8 goals, is he already?
yeah.
He's about 8
Yeah,
goals.
he's
And he
7, I think.
and you still argue that it's just like madness what's going on. When he actually, and keep it by all means, but when he starts honing in on where he can get chances for Liverpool and, you know, where he can pull off defenders and players will look for him, he's just mad, Keith. I love everything about him though.
And it's unfortunate because he's compared to Haaland. Do you know what I mean? And that's just the way, that's the reality. You know, big money centre forward of a certain physique comes in. But he's doing more in games than Haaland is. But obviously Haaland, it sounds stupid to say that because Haaland's got about 28 goals already. But Haaland's doing fuck all in the games. He's just an absolute predator when the ball comes to him and he scores. And that's not diminishing Haaland's game at all. Whereas this fella's the opposite. This fella's coming in and making shit happen. Do you know what I mean? It's not always positives. He's sent off and all that.
Yeah.
But he's trying to get involved. And I think if Haaland hadn't have come to the Premier League, you know, that's one monkey off his back and people would look at him and judge him differently. Not just Liverpool fans, but outside Liverpool. And I think if me auntie had a ball, she'd be my uncle. But if it had been Bobby that left this summer and not Mane, and Darwin Nunez came in, I think people would look differently at it as well, because he's had to face that from Liverpool fans and from non-Liverpool fans. Oh, they were mad to get rid of Mane. This fella's not Mane. This fella, and he's not Mane, but he's not meant to be Mane. Do you know what I mean? But he's being judged against Mane. And I think those two factors are what people are judging him against. And he's starting to now play where even if he's not having a great game, because he's so big, you can hit him early. Not that I want us hitting long, high balls, but we saw against West Ham, delivery comes in and he gets onto a header that you probably shouldn't be getting. Yeah. He's winning headers. The Salah goal last night is from a Nunez header as well. Like, he's good in the air, he has that, but he's so fucking fast as well. So he's constantly working the defenders. And, you know, if we were in a better moment, Liverpool, and you had this coming in, it'd be a fucking
He's winning a lot more games here. Like, I actually think, like, defenders at the moment are looking at him, there's a bit of an unknown with him. And that happens with a lot of and even with Haaland, there's probably a bit of unknown, because defenders haven't come up against him an awful lot, although you've seen an awful lot of him on TV and stuff. But there's a little bit of unknown in him where defenders are kind of going, where the fuck's he going to go? Where is he going to... And at the same time, he's settling. But I think might get to the stage, and if he keeps going the way he's going, I think he'll get to the stage where defenders will know probably what he's going to try, but he has multiple options. But I don't think you're going to be able to stop him, because he just has that look about him where, like, he shifts that ball by that Napoli defender last night, and over 3 yards, he's miles past that defender. Like I'm not saying like he shifts it and he just gets it across. He's completely away from that defender over what's literally probably 5 yards, right? To be fair, but over that 5 yards, your man is nowhere near him. It's like, I'm gone, and you can only imagine if he gets some of that where he's getting fellas one-on-one and he's shifting it. You're not stopping him. He's fucking mad fast. But against that, I love the stuff where it's played over the top. And against West Ham, it's played over the top. The easiest thing there was get a touch in front of you and try to hit it. And he just belts it at the goal. Fabianski makes a good save over the bar and stuff like that. But I have to say, like I said it last night on Twitter, and I mean it, if the only thing that comes out of this season for Liverpool is, you know, Darwin Nunez, I'm happy, because he makes me smile. He genuinely... you know when you kind of watch something, you kind of just shake your head laughing because it's a bit mad all the time. I think if he stays like that, but he starts to find, you know, the players around him and getting an understanding, which I think he can. I think he get an understanding while still being what he is. I think the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, Thor hits the nail on the head. So many are desperate for Darwin to fail. It's embarrassing, some of the snap judgments, and that's so true because people made this, and we've seen it all the time. You pick a fucking side, you die on this hill, and you never admit you're wrong. If this season ends up, if Liverpool can just get themselves into the top four contention, the league is out of the question at the moment. If we can get into top four contention, but as you said, the positive is Darwin Nunez has settled into this team. I'll take that, because if this fella is settled in and we can just say, right, down season this year, let's go again, and we have a hungry group and we have this fella leading it, it'll be good to watch next season. Because as I said, I think he suffered that we're not in the best situation team-wise. It's nothing to do with him. We might have said, we're trying to get used to playing with a different style. It's nothing to do with this fella. This fella's working his bollocks off, you know what I mean? It's some of the other lads aren't maybe doing it. But bright sparks all over the place. I think he's fucking brilliant. Love him. Absolutely love him.
Oh, me too. I've really enjoyed that. We're here in an hour and a half, would you believe? But that has been the midweek fix.
There's a lot of chatting there before we go. There's a lot going on in the chat about characters. Best character from a TV show ever. Who was it?
The name's gone out of my head. Hold on, I get it. It's gone out of my head.
What's he from?
Omar from
the War. Omar Little. Yeah, that's the correct answer. I was wondering what you'd say. That is the correct answer.
Yeah, it's Omar.
Greatest character ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Paulie Walnut's a close second.
Paulie Walnuts is fucking outrageous, isn't he? But you know what? Give it to them both, because Omar was unreal. But Paulie
like the charity shield, when they used to share it.
Just share it.
Paulie Walnuts and Omar Little. Yeah.
Tomorrow we have the viewer's voice. Matt will be hosting that. We have a couple of guests coming on. I know. Who have we got coming on that tomorrow? Jonathan is on tomorrow. He was on last week. He's on tomorrow as well. And we have. Are
you bringing him back?
Yeah, we're having him back, even though we lost at Anfield the weekend. Yeah. Jonathan's on, and I'm just waiting on a word from two people, which would be cool, and we'll be on tomorrow night. I think they're going to look how they would shape January for Liverpool. So we'll have a look at that. Friday will be the Premier League forecast with the lads as always. Nothing on Saturday. Liverpool play Sunday, don't they? 4:30 Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we might have we'll have a full-time Reds, I think, Sunday, and then we'll have a Fatback for Sunday as well, and then we're back into Monday. It's been a pleasure. That's been, as I said, the midweek fix. A link for Lydia isn't in the description tonight because I completely forgot. But if you go onto our socials, you will see the thing for Lydia. She's 18 years of age. She needs they've completely got the cost of this operations wrong. I think it's probably more near £7,000 than £5,000. They've asked us just to help them to get the £5,000, but we'll probably go on beyond that. But it's on our socials. It's doing quite well at the minute. It's nearly at £2,000, I think, at the minute. So if you can help with that, please do. Donate if you can't. The usual. Share it amongst your friends, family, and colleagues. And other than that, the Liverpool beanies, the LFC Daytrippers beanies, still a few left there as well. They should be in soon enough in the next couple of weeks. So if you want your order, go and get them. If you go into our Linktree link in our description, you will find straight away. If you click that link, you'll see the link for the beanies up the top. €21 each. They're really good. Loads of people have ordered them, and we've just a few left. So if you want to get in and get them done, please do so. And if you buy one of them off weareliverpool.ie before the 17th or 18th of November, you will be entered into a draw for a bundle pack from weareliverpool.ie. So buy 3 hats, get 3 entrants. Buy 1, get 1 entrant. You know how it works. So, and that means that if you order 10 things on the one order, you'll get 10 entrants. So support weareliverpool.ie because their stuff is really good. The quality is really good. The service on how to get them in and back out to you is top notch as well. Yeah. So go and do that. But that has been the midweek fix. Thanks a million for everyone for watching. If you haven't hit the like button, do it on the way out. If you haven't subscribed, do it on the way out. But it's not always like this where it's completely random. We just thought we'd do it tonight for a bit of crack. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.